and I am from New England, so I'm a little blunt. So pardon my bluntness, okay? And first thing I want to tell you is when I go to speak at other companies, I often get told not to say what company I'm with. But you know what? I need you today to do me a favor and pull up your big girl panties because I'm going to show you actual examples of my actual company stuff. And let's all just agree that we're with the company we're meant to be with. So I know you can look at my stuff and put Discovery Toys there where my company name is, and you'll get the idea. But I wanted you to see real examples of my real stuff because it's real, it's what happened. So I wanted to show you how this went for me. Now, I do want to tell you, I am wearing sneakers with a dress, by the way. And no, I'm not going to apologize for it. I also might have my cat come running by, which I didn't have to deal with when I was in Dallas. But so if that happens, just ignore it. But there are some things that I'm kind of good at, like work. But there's some things I'm not so good at, like being married and staying skinny. So just to tell you, some of my stories have a little bit interesting twist to them. So um, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background because that's how I came up with the stuff that I do today to build my business where it is so far. What I did was I got married when I was 18 and moved to Guam. What was I thinking, right? What was I thinking? That was husband number one. I have to number them now. Yeah, don't judge me just because they have to wear numbered shirts like a ball team. Okay, don't judge. Okay. So anyway, when he was in the Navy and he liked to dock his ship at more than one port, so I had to put his anchor adrift. So I moved to the United States, but I actually signed up to sell Avon when I lived over there. I was 18. I didn't have much for skills. I remembered there were a lot of people doing home parties over there, like Princess House and Tupperware, but I didn't see anybody doing Avon, so I wrote to the company. And they said, send me some money, we'll send you a kit. So I actually started selling Avon on Guam. And then when I released him to back into the wild, I moved to Mississippi and I sold Avon there too. And I've sold Avon ever since then, since I was 18. Now, what's funny is I didn't even think about this being a full-time thing. I didn't know anybody that was doing even direct sales full-time, not just Avon. But I didn't know anybody. Everybody was doing it like playing around, part-time money thing. So there have been times in my life where I needed a full-time job and I kept looking for something and I wanted to be rich. I didn't want to be poor. And I never thought that what I was already doing could work out for me. I just never thought it because I didn't meet anybody that was earning big money in direct sales. So anyway, I think the low point of my whole story was probably I spent about 8 months in Charleston, South Carolina, working third shift at a convenience store. And that was an interesting adventure. Let me tell you about that someday, huh? But I moved to New Hampshire after that, and I got this really great job as a secretary. And in the convenience store, I earned about 6,000 something a year. Of course, this was back in the late 80s, so do the time adjustment there. But the second day I was in New Hampshire, I applied for a secretary job, and I actually got it. And the guy said to me, "We can't offer you a lot, but we can offer you 15. And I didn't know whether he meant 15 eggs in a basket or what, because I never thought he meant 15,000 a year. And that's what he meant. Yay! So anyway, I was getting 15,000 a year, dental benefits, medical, 401k, the whole thing. So 2.5 years into that, I'm earning 20,000 because I got pay raises. And then we all got pink slipped right before I think it was before Thanksgiving. It was right in the holidays there. And I've been doing Avon all this time. And by then I was married to husband number, okay? Don't judge, remember? So when we got pink slips that day, I came home And by then I was living in the trailer park. Here's my trail in the trailer park. I don't know if you can see. And because husband number two, he wasn't really into earning money. That wasn't really his thing. Yeah. Okay, so it was kind of on me. So when I lost that job, I was pretty much hysterical. I mean, have you ever cried so hard you snorted? It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I was crying and crying and carrying on because I knew I was the only reason the rent was getting paid and all that. And he said to me, why don't you do more with that Avon thing you've been playing with? And I thought, oh, you simple man. I said, I don't know anybody that even sells what I need to earn. And there's a difference between how much you sell and how much you earn in this. And he said to me, just because you don't know anybody doing that, why can't it be you? And you know what? Being married to him all those years, that itself was worth it, I guess. Just that little piece of information. I mean, I feel bad because later on I did have to release him back into the wild. But that little thing he said, and you know what's funny is at the time, I thought to myself, he believes in me. Maybe I should believe in me a little bit more. So a couple of years went by and I was building this business up and full time. And he heard me telling that story to someone on the phone. And he said, I hung the phone. He said, you don't go around telling people that story, do you? And I said, well, believe it or not, that made a big difference to think that you believed in me. And he said, oh, God, I didn't mean that I believed in you. I just wanted you to quit crying. You know, sometimes they just should lie. You know, lie to me. You know, just lie to me. So anyway, I'm telling you all that because there was a point where I had to make this work. I got laid off the job. It was like 87, I think, 1987. I had to make this work. Husband number two wasn't earning. I was actually married to him 18 years. So during that time, it was me that had to earn. And I just couldn't leave it up to chance whether I was going to earn or not. So I had to make this work. So I said, if I'm going to do this full time, and I tried getting other jobs, but in 87, when it was a recession, I just couldn't get anything. You know, if you're a secretary, what's the bottom of the pecking order in the secretaries, right? Temp job. I went to the temp agency to get hired. They wouldn't hire me because I didn't type fast enough. I mean, that's bad. But now it's like, yay, thank goodness they didn't hire me because I had to make this work. And I highly recommend it. It was awful at the time, but boy, what a difference. Now, a few of the things I want to show you are, and I'm going to tell you how I come up with it because how I came up with it is more important than the ideas themselves. So what I did was I thought, how am I going to get a bunch of people to know that I do Avon? How am I going to get that to happen? At first, I didn't know at first that there were so many people in my town already that sold. I lived in a little town. Back then, there was less than 7,000 people in my town. I live in rural New Hampshire. And I didn't realize at the time there were already 15 other Avon representatives. So now, right, once I knew that, I could have said, oh, this isn't going to work. It's saturated. I hate that word. It's saturated. I'll never do anything, right? Or this is the option I picked. I'm going to convince everybody in town I'm the only one. So that's what I did. Now, I'm going to show you some of the ways I did it, but I want to show you at first that I can prove to you that it works. So after I released husband number two back into the wild, he used to build little sheds on the side, and he called his business WW Buildings. So it doesn't have our last name in it. My last name is Wilber. It doesn't have the last name. And this letter from the hardware store, a bill for his company, went to the trailer park after we moved. Now it doesn't say, it just says W&W Buildings. And the lady that bought our trailer wrote on here, no longer at this address, deliver to Avon lady. Right? There are 15 Avon ladies in my town. They brought that letter to me. Right? Right? So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that if anybody's thinking about Discovery Toys or toys in general, you are the toy lady. You are the toy man. It's you. When they think about Discovery Toys, they think about you. And that's what I based my whole thing on. So I thought, you know what I'll do is, I call it the 10-mile radius. I'm going to make sure that everybody within 10 miles of me knows that I'm the Avon lady, not the other people, just me. So everything that I do is going to connect me. It's branding me. So they think of me, they see Avon. They think of Avon, they see me. It's those two things together. And that's what I need you to do for your business. So start with 10 miles and make sure everybody in 10 miles of you, matter of fact, I'll bet you $20. If you go down to the town hall today in Ware and you say, who sells Avon around here? They're going to tell you it's me. And there's still 15 people. You want that to be true about you. You want, if you stop somebody within 10 miles of you on the street and says, who sells Discovery Toys around here? They're going to say, oh, I know, it's her. Because they're going to see your name and the company name so often together. Now, let me tell you the first thing I thought of at the time that I got laid off. It was '87, and I was driving a Yugo. Do you know what a Yugo is? You do? Yeah, yeah. When you had more than one person in it, they called it a Wego. But they were, you remember those were so funny little cars. They were little cars, $39.95, brand new. That's what they were. And but what happened is I went outside my trailer in the trailer park, and I saw the oil delivery truck. He wasn't bringing oil to me because we had a little bitty wood stove. We couldn't afford the oil. And I looked at the side of the oil delivery truck, and it had the name of the company on it. And I went over there and touched it, and it was stickers. That's all it was. It was stickers on the truck. And I thought, hey, I could put stickers on my car. So I got, this is my Yugo. See? And now for you to do this, it's so much easier because they have sign shops. If you look up signs in the yellow pages or online, they have sign shops just about every corner. There's one right near here, and I live way out in the woods. So you can get a sign shop. And you know what, at first, if you don't want to do quite this much, just I started out using a white sheet of paper with black marker and put the name of the company and my phone number and taped it in the inside of the windows. You can do a bumper sticker. You can do magnetic signs. Vistaprint will do some for you. Just make sure that no matter what you put independent consultant on everything, because that usually is required by most companies, okay? The thing I want to make sure you do on these is make sure it's readable, even if you're going by you fast or going from behind. Have it on all four sides. Now, look at this on the top here. You know what that is? Pizza sign, right? Because I saw a pizza guy in the town next door delivering pizza, except he was yanking that off of his truck. And I said to him, what are you going to do with that pizza sign? And back then they didn't have the magnets on them like they do today. It was suction cups. And he says, it makes a whole bunch of noise. I'm going to get rid of it. I said, I'll buy it from you. I'm driving a Yugo. I won't hear it. Right? So he charged me like $75 for that. You can buy these brand new, by the way, right now at carsigns.com. It's CARSIGNS, carsigns.com. It plugs into your lighter through the window. You put the cord, and it lights up at night if you want it to. There's a cord you can go off and on. But it's awesome, especially if you live in a rural area, because believe me, they don't have no pizza or taxi out where I live here in rural New Hampshire. And it's so funny because you see people stand on the side of the road and you can't hear what they're saying, but they're going as they watch me go by. It's awesome. But I did this for probably 6-7 years. And then I wanted to get a van. And I bought a used one on the side of the road. So I upgraded to the van. See this one? This fan cost me $750, and I loved it. It was nice, and I switched and got an 800 number, which I highly recommend. They're cheap now, okay? You know what? I used this fan for a few years, but then it started doing something that I had to get a new car after that. You know what it did? Do you remember the movie Uncle Buck? So I drive up to a fair to set up a little booth, turn off the key, shut my eyes, because I know what's coming, right? Bam! Everybody in the whole place hit the deck. You know, the point of me telling you about the Yugo and the van, though, is start with what you've got. I hear a lot of people say, I don't want to put any signs on my car because my car isn't nice enough yet. Hey, how are you going to get the nicer car if you don't start with what you already got? You can't wait for that. You've got to do with whatever you've got. And you know what's funny is the only people that ever complained about my cars, especially the Yugo, were the other Avon representatives. Customers didn't complain. Customers actually said to me, well, usually it was the ones that their husbands were helping me push start it. Remember when you could pop the clutch and push start it? Yeah. Usually it was them. They'd say, oh, honey, maybe if I buy an extra bottle of Skin So Soft, you can get a real car next year. And then after that one, I moved up to this one. This was my Hyundai. And I'm still doing, this is vinyl letters. I stopped doing magnets pretty early on because my cars were not that nice of a car. Like this Hyundai was $59.95, brand new. And the magnets don't stay on the cheaper cars that well. But nowadays, magnets stay a lot better than that. So if you're going to do, if it's between doing nothing and doing something, do something. So either do the signs in the windows or bumper sticker or magnets. The vinyl, what I like about it is if people borrow your car, it's not optional. So, you know what I mean? So if you have if you have vinyl, I mean, if you have magnets on and your husband borrows your car, he's likely to take the magnets off and throw them inside, where vinyl letters is not optional. So, okay. Now this one, I saw a car in Las Vegas that had a car wrap on it, and I was in love. And it was a PT Cruiser, and it was a Coca-Cola car. I came home. This is my version. And you know what? If you're going to do this and spend the money, I got on the cover of Cruiser magazine with it. And I bought tons of extra copies, and I've used this for recruiting for years. You know why? It's so funny. If you can get on the cover of a magazine like that, it gives you like wicked lot of credibility. Sorry, we say wicked here in New England. Wicked lot of credibility, no matter what magazine it is. It could be Idiot Monthly. And if you're on the cover, people like, wow. Now, this is the car that I'm driving right now. This, okay, and I had the light up sign. This was just the mock-up one. But it just some different examples for you to look at. But, you know, do whatever you can that you can do now. Don't wait, okay? Don't wait. Now, let me just tell you one more story, and then I got a couple more ideas for you. I put a sign, one of the things that I like to do to make sure everybody within 10 miles of me knows what I'm doing is I had a sign on my front lawn. I started with a little sign, of course, and then I had the brainstorm of having this big giant sign. This is my big giant sign. Now, you can't tell from the size, but this ain't pretty good size. This is like two people standing on top of each other, okay? It's pretty good size. Now, what a great idea this was. This is about a couple grand idea, though. This was expensive. And, about 8 months in, I got a letter from the state of New Hampshire. And they said, you have to take down the sign or we're going to come cut it down. I'm like, because I had it in there right away and I didn't realize it. Now, when something like that happens, don't be all discouraged and stuff. Me and my mom sat around and we're thinking, how can we get some mileage out of having that sign moved? So at first we thought, you know what? There was a historic thing that happened on our site and it was called the Pine Tree Riot. We'll chain ourselves to the sign and call it the Pine Tree Riot Part 2. So that was the first thought. But then what we ended up doing, I changed the lettering on the sign to say, Big Brother, State of New Hampshire, making me move my sign. And I called all the newspapers. And you know what? Here's a copy of the front page, yeah, of the Concord Monitor, which is the New Hampshire State Capitol paper. And look, it's got the sign, me, my address, and the word Avon's in there. It was practically an ad. Right? And free too. And you know what's funny? I got more publicity from this, more sales and publicity from this in the paper than I ever got from the actual sign itself. So don't think, if you try an idea and it doesn't work out, sometimes you can even morph it into better business for yourself. But it's getting yourself out there over and over. I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of what the sign looks like now. I did have to move that. I put another sign up there and they didn't come after me. So my newest thing is last year, and I put it in the same spot hoping they'll come after me because that worked out so good last time. But, and years have gone by, so I think that they, you know, might forget and come after me again. But one of their things was it took away from the beauty of the landscape here, is why they wouldn't let me have the other sign. So I hired a chainsaw artist and had him do a bear carving. Except the bear's holding a bottle of Skin So Soft. And it says Avon up here, right? Now, this is pretty involved. It's cemented right to the ground on the state land in front of my house. So they could ask me to move it. And it's so funny because the chainsaw guy said, I told him the story. He said, you know, if they make you move that bear sculpture, I'm going to be mad about that. I said, I know. So anyway, it's still sitting out there. If you want to come visit me, have your picture taken with it. That's what all the tourists do. So one of the other things that I saw, now see that this is the thing, is look around and see what other people and companies are doing and see how you can make that your idea. So I saw this carpenter near me, his mailbox looked like a big hammer. And he has a real root box. And you know the round part on the hammer that you hit with? I don't know what it's called because I don't know. And the box was hanging from that. So I thought, why can't I do that with like a lipstick? Right? The lipstick and the lipstick mark. And this is a bag of products. Think about how you could do this for your business. Right? So this was up there for probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. Then I switched to this one. When I got done using these, by the way, I cut them up and used them for signs right on my house. And my motto is, it's easier to apologize than to ask permission, right? So try some stuff. Don't always ask, because they're always going to say no if you ask. This is mine right now. And they made me change it because they thought this was too much of a sign. Can you imagine that? But it was like after 10 years of doing this and this, that they made me change to this. So if I'd have asked first, I wouldn't have had all the publicity I got from these two first. So try it. Now just another couple of ideas here. Make it easy for yourself to be found. So be in everything you can think of, like the chamber. I know they don't do phone books, but they still have online directories. Be everywhere that they can find you. And also sometimes you can't put your phone number, but it'll get your name out. This is Adopt a Highway, right? This is the state one, this is the town one. And it says, Lisa Wilber, the Avon lady. That's a tribute to the other 14 in my town. The. Okay, I'll just say it. Meow. Okay. Okay. But this is free to do. And this helps brand you with the company name. So the state one is free to do, and so is the town one. You just have to agree to pick up usually it's a mile or two, like 4 times a year. And you don't even have to do that yourself if you don't want. Trade someone some products to do it for you. okay? But it's another way to get your name out there. Now, when I thought this morning, matter of fact, I was looking on you guys' site so I could make sure to make this relevant for you. This is just the button that says ask on it. Now, we use our kit fee, but you know what you could put? Wear real money, wear a 20, and say, when someone says, why are you wearing a $20 on you? Say, because you saved $20 on the business launch kit when you joined my Discovery Toys team today. Right? Isn't that what's true today? Right? Because you saved $20 on the business launch kit when you joined my Discovery Toys team today. So you want to make whatever the amount is, you want to make it relevant to either something you're offering or some bonus that you're doing so you have something to say. But it's beautiful when you're wearing real money on the outside like that, a pin with real money. Everybody says something about it. They stare at you like you're wearing your bra on the outside or something. It's amazing. Now, with my Avon business, I do this. You could do this too, is I just carry around one of our regular delivery bags. I just put ask me for a brochure, hand wrote it on the bag. I fill it with brochures and I just set it down places when I'm sitting around, like at the mall food court, like when I'm waiting for my daughter at Taekwondo. All those places, I just leave it sitting around and everybody asks me for a brochure. So it's just another way to get me and the company name branded together. So think about doing that. Now, I just wanted to read you a couple other things, ideas for you. And then I want to talk just a few minutes about social media. Okay, because these things, social media right now is so fabulous, can tie all this together for you. Okay, some of the other things that I do to get branded with the company name, I write articles for industry publications like Networking Times. You know what's funny is they will take articles from anybody, so you can be an expert too. That's all you do. You write the article, you submit it. When it gets published, you either make copies or buy a bunch of other copies. And when someone is a prospect that wants to join your business, it makes you look like an expert because you're published. Okay? It's beautiful. I also do interviews for industry publications. I raise my hand. You know, I don't know about you, but I thought if I do this job really well, people want to hear my story. And that's not true. You have to be known. So you have to say, hey, I got a story over here you're going to want to hear. So you can't be bashful about it, okay? It's not bragging. It's what all the other companies do to get known, okay? It's about the business. You may want to join your local chamber of commerce. I actually even did a radio show myself for about 6 months. You just go on the show and you have guests come on, and local radio stations offer that. So you can have your own radio show. They also have online web shows that you can have. You just have to be willing to do it. That's all there is to it. You might want to join civic organizations like the Lions or the Rotary, because you know yourself, when you meet new people, what's one of the first things they say to you? What do you do? Right? Everyone says that. What do you do? Then you can say, I'm the toy lady. I sell Discovery Toys. Or I have a team with Discovery Toys. Or I change people's lives with Discovery Toys. Okay? Also, classified line ads used to be a really big thing for me. It's not as much anymore, but it's still worth doing. I sponsor a little girl's sports team. Matter of fact, mine's called Lisa's Avon Ladies. But you have to show up at these things and make sure that everybody knows that you're the person that sponsored the team. Give out your brochures. You can't be bashful doing this stuff. Okay, wear a name badge or button all the time. Speak publicly. You know, go to the Lions and the Rotary. Make sure everybody around you knows what you're doing. Matter of fact, welcome wagon. A lot of towns have welcome wagon that you can include your brochure and maybe a little goodie in. Okay, and a float in the town's parade. I did that many, many years, and I'm missing today's. It's raining anyway, but I'm missing today's. Usually I just drive my car. That's the float. That's it. I usually get the little girls softball team. I ask them if they'll come hand brochures out along the route while I just drive the car and wave. That's it. And posters on bulletin boards. I do that too, everywhere. So, and you want to keep a list of posters on the bulletin boards so you can go back and check them. Okay. Now, as far as online, the thing with Facebook and Twitter and all that is so fabulous is that you get to meet new people and connect with people and stay in tune with people. I just wanted to give you a couple tips on that, though. You got to make sure if you're going to use your Facebook, I say Facebook a lot, but I mean all the social medias, that you treat it like a friend, a person. That's what I do. So like when I was at the carnival last night, I took pictures of Lydia, my 12-year-old daughter, on rides and posted it. So you want to do like 80% just regular stuff and only about 20% of not even plugging your products, but talking about your products. And people will still, they come to me and want to, they say, you look like you're having so much fun doing that business. How do I get in? Or I saw you doing, I like to do like half my face with the new face cream and the other half without it and take a picture every day or something, you know, do something like that. Or for you guys, how about a little live stream of your son or daughter using the Sandworks Castle Kit? You know, just showing other kids how to use it. Or you could do a little contest with a live stream. And I was thinking this would be cute, is you give a prize to the person watching your live stream who guesses to the closest second how fast the marble will come down in the marble works. Right? So you think of all these little ways that you can incorporate your business stuff into the social media. How about like on, if you set up a special Facebook group page for your customers, the VIP group for your customers, and you could even have like Thursday night is storytelling night, and you have people come in and read a book like Flip Flap Fly, and they're seeing your products in action. I think that's what helps a lot. Now, and don't be afraid to just jump in. A lot of the companies, a lot of your competition is using social media, and it's fabulous. So don't be afraid to just go on there. The thing I do want to caution against, though, is make sure you wouldn't put stuff up on there that you wouldn't want prospects or customers or potential team members to see. For example, having potty mouth is not cool, or showing gaping wounds from the emergency room, not cool. Stuff like that. You know, stuff you do not want to see, neither do your customers. And if you always post about, you know, things that are wrong with you, when prospects aren't going to necessarily want to join your team, if you think about it. Because do you want to join someone's team who has lots of problems? So if you're going to use social media for your business, just be careful how you're using it for your other, you know, the personal posting and stuff. But it's a fabulous tool, and especially the Facebook Live part, because you can do things. You can do shows. You can do a whole show on live stream, and your customers can be the stars. It's awesome. So when you think about Discovery Toys says, right, they say layers of learning is how you're doing that, right? You have to think about this marketing and this advertising as layers of marketing, layers of branding yourself, okay? So don't just pick one of these things out that we talked about this morning. Do a bunch of them and do a lot of them, because that's how you're going to earn the most money in this business. So I think that's it for me today. I can picture, I want you to connect with me and show me when someone has their car wrapped with your logo. I would love to see that, or a mailbox with your logo. I think that would look awesome. So I want to thank you so much. If you want to connect with me, I'm on Facebook, and matter of fact, you could, if you text, here's this, you can text that. You can also catch me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Lisa.Wilber, Wilber. Okay, and you can email me at lwilber@aol.com. I'd love to see some of these ideas in action. And have a great rest of the conference.
Pretty much the ultimate in grassroots marketing. I don't think how you get more grassroots than that. Hey, thank you so much. That was fantastic. Learned a lot here from our consultants. I don't know if you could hear it coming through. A lot of enthusiasm in the room. I know people received a lot of good ideas, and hopefully they'll put it in action and go home and take it to their team members. And congratulations for all that you've achieved. Fantastic, inspiring story with a lot of humor instilled in there too. So take care, and we appreciate you joining us. And I'm so glad that Teresa found you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.